What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the round 23 Game Day Squad football show brought to you by the GameDay Society. Running a little bit later than normal, but we're here. And as always, I've got Zonald with me. How you been, Zonald? How's your week been?
I'm good. I'm just on dad duty this weekend, so partner's away. So if anybody sees me walk off out of frame and come back 5 minutes later, that's why.
Look, if you leave for 5 minutes, I'm stopping the stream because no one wants to watch this stream for me. Everyone's here for you. So we will we'll just bring the kids around. They can cheat. I'm sure if there's kids say no more than most people anyway. So get them on. But after last week, which again kind of seems like a while ago now, just because we're going the full week between fixtures again. How did you go? Do you remember?
It wasn't too bad. I think it was like early 20s, which isn't bad. I've had it like the week before I was like in the 60s, so that was real bad. Mm-hmm. And then it was like the first time in a while I'd done better in Classic than I had Challenger, but not Champion. I did pretty well. I was like, I think 17th or something like that.
Yeah, good effort. I kind of sat around that 20 to 15 mark, I think, for the top two comps, but so the Challenger and Champion. But in Classic, I finished 9th, which I was pretty happy with. And I'm into the top 3 of the Guillotine League, which is pretty crazy considering the amount of, big weeks people are having. I think I've just consistently been second last every week in the chopping league. So people who don't know, there's a Stat Lab running a Guillotine League where every round, the bottom person left in the league for that round is cut. And then each week or each round, the league gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And we're down to 3 now. And somehow I'm there. So wish me luck. I need to switch on. The other reason we want to switch on is because the second cup is starting soon. And we need to be locking in our qualifying places and which pool we're in. So I assume you're in the top pool at the moment.
I think we both at your 15th, I'm 12th, I think. So we're probably around that. We've got barely any points between us now. It's probably 40 points, something like that. That's half a round.
It's not even that. 50 points between us, or 54 points between us. So
not much at all.
Could be anything.
Could overtake me this week and change it around.
Yeah. What's more scary is below me, there's even less of a gap. So I need to just keep pushing hard to stay relevant. But in order to do that, we're going to need to look at this week because we've had a quick chat beforehand, but there's some tricky decisions we're going to have to make because there's not a lot of obvious picks this week, as far as I can see anyway. You might, you'll probably sway us all into the right choices, but we'll kick it off with the first game of the round here, which is the only one we get fixtures for. And
bad game to get fixtures for.
Yeah.
It's like the most relevant play is Royce, and it's like he's probably going to start. And worst case, if he didn't and we didn't get lineups, you'd just kick your emergency in. I'm assuming most people play lower rarities for their keepers.
Yeah, there's you'd be pretty unlucky to have 2 of your keepers not starting. So I think there's not a whole lot of risk there. But I guess with West Ham going, how they're going, Sunderland getting a lot of squad players back, which will hopefully ease a bit of pressure around, rotations and things like that. Do you see this as a viable game that we could be attacking?
I think we'll stack on this one. Especially defense. Sunderland are good at defense anyway. They haven't been as good away as they are at home, but they grind out results draws it away. I think they just set up very defensively because they're obviously a promoted team, so any win against any team's great. Maybe they target this a bit different now because of where West Ham are. But at home too, West Ham have only won twice at home in the league this season from 11 games. So not very good.
That's the thing though is the lower teams for this month, they've actually been doing not too bad. So there's a bit of a resurgence to, balance things out. West Ham maybe not in that pool though so much is the problem.
Paqueta probably not playing as well. The whole transfer room is swirling around, so he's just didn't play I don't think he played at all last week, and I'm pretty sure he's ruled out this week.
I think he's listed as a back injury maybe, but I don't know if that's...
The old Felipe Coutinho injury.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd just stay well clear, especially the way West Ham are going, and, coming up against Sunderland probably was stay clear anyway. But Bowen's probably the only West Ham player we could consider, but is that even an option this week?
I think so, because they're probably going to go majority through him or, I assume, Somerville. Their two new attacking sons are all right, but Sunderland do allow some point stacking from players without them having to score, so it wouldn't surprise me if Bowen does half well, but I think there's better attacking options.
Yeah.
I'd say he's the only one from there. Whereas Sunderland, there's heaps of players you could go for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
start with the usuals: Ballard, Malia. You could go Hume, so their defense might be a bit different setup because who's it? Reynildo's back from AFCON.
Mm-hmm.
So Hume's, I think, predicted to start left wing, or one of the wings. If he does, because that's one good thing about this lineup. If he does, I'd be tempted to look at him because I think they can keep the clean here. And on the off chance he gets an assist or a goal or something from playing there.
Yeah.
So he's one to watch.
In terms of attacking options from Sunderland, are there any that we can... the midfield area, there's a couple of decent shouts there. Lefay, Sharpener.
Yeah, exactly. Lefay. I played him last week and he scored, so...
What about genuine forwards though?
So I think Broby, I think it is Brian Broby. I think he's an alright option because he's started to lock down that starter spot now as striker. Obviously line up, so another benefit of those. So if you go super unique here and put him in, I think he's scored pretty well when he's actually played the 90 or close to the 90. And whenever he scores goals, it's high-end scores. I think it's in the 20s.
Yeah, he's had, it looks like 3 pretty decent scores around that 20 mark, which I think are the ones you're talking about where he got the full game. Again, good shout, but I think there's definitely better fixtures we'll be targeting, and we'll get to them eventually. But your forward line is going to be pretty hard to pick.
Yeah, hard because of the options.
Yeah. All right, let's stop kind of dragging this one out and get into the next one then. So next up, game 2. There's a few on at this time. Burnley, Tottenham. Tottenham have been struggling hard, and they've got a bunch of injuries which are kind of affecting selection options, that kind of stuff, manager under pressure. How do you read that in terms of, a GameDay Squad perspective?
Well, off the get-go, I was initially going Dubravka might be good here because Spurs have been struggling. But a couple of surprises when I actually looked into it a bit more. So Burnley are actually half decent at home despite still being terrible in terms of flat-out results and points gained. They've only conceded 15 in 11 games there, so just over 1 a game, which isn't too bad. Dubravka's presumably getting a lot of saves there too, so probably going to be a good game if he holds a clean sheet, one of those monster games. But Spurs are, where was it? They're the second best away team in the league this season, which is very surprising. I thought they were one of those teams that do it out at home, and their away form is the reason they are what they are. But second best away team, which means, I think the fact that Burnley tends to allow a lot of players to stack points, regardless of if they score or what the result is, you could definitely be looking at the attackers for Spurs in this.
Yeah. So who are they then? Because they've got Simmons, who every week we're he should be doing he's the kind of player who looks like he should be very good fantasy wise, creative, should be getting in areas, getting assists, but it just hasn't really happened for him. Do you see him as a Verts kind of player where it will come?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Similar to that, I think he'll eventually click, and the fact he doesn't have Kudus at the moment, I think helps because it's all to him. So this could be the game for it. He's going to have a lot of time on the ball and to make his decisions a bit slower. which is what I think he's been struggling. He's been making his decisions too quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see him having a really good game. You've got Tell, who's a bit underrated. He has some surprising big scores and scores a decent amount of goals for Spurs, especially lately with all the injuries. It's probably going to be Kolo Muani up top. I highly doubt they play Solanke back-to-back starts after the Champions League game. If it was Solanke guaranteed, I'd look at him, but I don't think it will be. On the other side, you've probably got Odegaard, and I don't rate Odegaard that much. So,
yeah. What about the back line for Tottenham? They're probably the names that we would routinely be looking at if we were picking a Tottenham player. Romero seems like a pretty decent pick this round. Van der Ven's back, I think, from suspension this week. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the usual backline will be back. They've signed a new left back in Swaza. Probably won't play straight up. Spencer's a good lockdown anyway back there. I think Swaza's just there to compete with him while Udogie's out injured.
Yep.
Porro and Romero tend to be the combination because Porro takes a lot of the set pieces. I think Simmons rotates sort of with him for some of it, but Porro does take a fair bit of set pieces or whips balls in. Then you've got Romero, who's probably the biggest danger in the air.
Yeah. With Van der Ven, I feel like when he's playing, they sit a little bit higher as well defensively, which then potentially could open some options up for Burnley, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference in terms of, whether we consider picking him. But yeah, I don't know.
I think when Fleming comes back, because Fleming's a midfielder and he's actually looked pretty decent when he's played striker for them. So I've been waiting for him to come back and get like a good fixture because I reckon he'd be a pretty good point of difference in that midfield. It's sort of like when Sade has a good fixture or when Visa starts playing consistently when he's a good fixture. You want to target them because a goal is the same for a midfielder and attacker, but they're just more likely to score in those positions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll be looking at the defenders in this one for Tottenham. Maybe just Romero. I think I like Romero more than Porro just for, if they're playing the, they're not going to be able to get in.
Sort of thinking.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to get in behind as much with Burnley, I don't think. So it'll be more those kind of set piece goals where Romero, I think, will be in. All right, that's 2 games down. We'll jump into the third one. Forgot to mention, as always, we're just going to open a couple of packs at the end. So jump in the comments if you're around. I know that this is a bit of a different time. Cricket's on, so we're not expecting too many people in the live show. So it's probably a good chance to get some prizes if you are here. But yeah, just jump in the comments, ask questions, answer questions, get involved, and you'll go on the wheel to win, hopefully. So, game 3, Fulham-Brighton. I was big on Fulham last week, and it probably cost me a little bit how big I was on them.
You should be again.
Yeah, I think I was riding the form, and I got on a week too late. And then, it was a little bit disappointing because in my head I thought it was a brilliant idea. How do you see him this week, though?
Well, you could have been a week too early because, looking through the matchup, this is one of the ones where Fulham should win because they've been pretty decent at home this year. They're like one of those mid-table teams if you just look at the home table. Brighton are 13th for away, so not great. Way better at home. Fulham are unbeaten in the last 5 against Brighton in home matchups. 4 of those have been wins for Fulham. Iwobi's scored twice in the last 2. He's probably going to play a deeper defence for off he starts, so back from AFCON. So I'm not necessarily considering
first game back, won't it?
Yeah. Not necessarily considering him. I'm more looking at Wilson because I think they've scored 2 to 3 goals in most of these wins they've had against them too. So I think Wilson could be on for a goal or 2, if not setting some up. Robertson, I think, is a decent option because of that. They've kept a couple of clean sheets in those last 5 against them too.
Yeah. Do you think Brighton tend to kind of sneak a goal a lot of the time, though? Do you think Leno is too much of a stretch to consider this week?
No, I had him in my blog about as one of the options. I'm big on him because Minte is going to be underdone still coming back from that injury. So I doubt he plays the full game. He'll probably start. And whenever he's been underdone, you can clearly tell it on the pitch, and he just isn't the same player. Matoma is getting up to speed, so he's going to be a bit of a threat. Albeit he'll be on probably the left, and he'll be against. I think Tete might be back, so maybe Tete.
Yeah. Well, this has Tete still as confirmed out, but
okay, yeah. Then it'll be Castagne, someone like that. They'll have Bassi back in defence as well. That strengthens them. I just feel like with their record against Brighton, this is one of the ones where it's going to be like sneaky pod picks that a lot of people won't pick up on.
Yeah. I am now worried that you've talked me into doubling down and going again. I think Wilson could be an all right.
Yeah, I think Wilson's a good shout.
Yeah. I think Jimenez might have burnt me a little bit. Like, he still did fine. He just had scored like bags after bags leading up to that game. I picked him, so that's what hurt.
With players like him and Welbeck and like Calvert-Lewin, I always just Welbeck in particular is one where it's like he tends to score against the same teams over and over again. Jimenez, I don't think as much, but like he does tend to score against the same team. I haven't looked at his record against Brighton though.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Brighton, like Minte coming back, don't think he'll look that good. Probably avoid.
Yeah.
But I think you were looking at Matoma last week.
Yep.
And then I accidentally told you he was out when he wasn't because I misread a tweet. But is he still a shout this week, or do you think Fulham's too much of like a?
I just think at home and with Robertson back, they just look a lot stronger in defence. Now, it's not his side that's got Robinson on it or anything, but I think Matoma can point stack because he's such a good dribbler anyway. So, like, you lose a bit of the risk against a team like Fulham because he's probably going to run at his less talented other side on the left. It's the right back, sorry. So, probably get some points regardless of if he does score or assist.
Yeah, I think we've got a question here in the chat from Mel. Mel on the show last week, back to work in the chat this week. Thanks, Mel. She says, how about Van Heek this week? How's he looking?
I like playing him against teams that struggle on set pieces because he does tend to score from them. So it just gives me that extra, I guess, initiative to play him. I still like there to be like a chance of a clean sheet in those ones. I won't go near him if it's like an Arsenal, and Arsenal with struggles, they're not. But with this one, just because I think Fulham will win, I'm less so on him. Fulham aren't that bad at defending set pieces either from memory.
Yeah. I think in a week where Sunderland are a decent defensive matchup, that takes out two of your defensive slots basically, because you're going to play probably Ballard and Malia. So I think he'll probably do well because he tends to pop up in the weeks that I don't consider him, which like it's not necessarily game dependent so much for him. It's more just it happens or it doesn't happen. So could be a good shout. I'm not doing it.
So there's this site I just had a quick look. A really handy site I found last week, or not a site, but a function in the site, which is it's on Who Scored. They show you distribution of goals, home, away, for, against. So I'm looking at the home against for Fulham, and 31% of their goals they concede at home from set pieces. So I don't know if that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that definitely favours them a bit, but.
Does that bump him up to consideration then for you?
Maybe, but like just looking at the goals they concede in general, they've only conceded 13 home ones, and 4 of those are set piece ones. So it does boost the numbers a little bit to make it seem like it's better than it is.
Yeah, no, that's true. All right, so maybe not, but not the worst shout. Probably as good a shout as a lot of other people will be confident about. This is a game which I've been looking forward to talking to you about because there's a lot going on here, and it would make our lives so much easier if we just had the fixtures to this one because, my God, there's so many different variations and permutations of what could happen. I am convinced that Haaland is not playing this game. I've talked to you about it through the week. There's so many flags here that it's just he's going to miss. I've seen in the Discord there's a few people who are thinking the same thing. He struggled last match week in the Premier League, taken off very early after not doing much, looked wrecked, then went on to play 90 minutes in the Champions League. He's got to have a rest, surely. Pep said he's going to need a break, and Mamouche is probably going to have to come in and take some minutes. This just seems like the week is going to happen.
I'm surprised they didn't rest him against Exeter. He played 45 minutes there. It was real weird in just a random cup match. It could happen for sure. So this is sort of the info we have. Semenyo was ineligible during the week, so is Guehi to play in the Champions League. So I would say they're both starting. You've then got Doku, who didn't come on at all. They only made one sub in the Champions League. So I would say Doku's playing. Phil Foden's got a broken hand, but he played, he had it prior to the game for the Champions League during the week, and he played with it. Pep said he's fine to play with it. Came off in the 70th minute. I'd say it was probably more performance-based. So I think Cherky gets the start ahead of him if they're the two vying head-to-heads, and Semenyo and Doku should start. Bernardo Silva was suspended, so Bernardo Silva should start and play. Rodri is suspended for their Champions League game next week in the midweek, so Rodri should play. That's pretty much most of their midfield and attack is settled. It's really just Nico Gonzalez is still out, I'm pretty sure, so it comes down to is Reinders or Foden playing. Because I think that's one more spot left, right? 1, 2, 3. That's no. Is that one more spot? Cherky, Bernardo Silva, and Rodri. No, I'm pretty sure that's it. So I don't think either of those two will play Reinders or Foden. I think they might both be benched. Could be completely wrong there. And then it comes down to does Haaland play? Does Marmouche play? Savinho's out, so he's not being rotated in, and Semenyo playing striker or something weird. Technically, Foden could play as a centre forward. He's done it in the past when it was just him and Haaland as the striker options. So I would say there's a good chance and I think if they do it, it's probably going to be Marmouche fresh off doing well at AFCON.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling is going to happen. I'm manifesting it as well because I've got Marmouche legend card just sitting in the account that's been there basically from day one, not being usable. So how much of a risk do you think it is playing Haaland this week?
It's interesting because you'd assume everyone that has Haaland is playing Haaland, or does most weeks, and then these types of weeks come into contention a little bit. So I think you get away. The only thing that's in the back of my head is what if he does just play 90 despite all this going on, and then he scores a hat trick. That's when it really hurts. Even 2 goals sort of hurts. 1 goal and it's not too bad, or a halftime sub after 1 goal and it's not bad at all. Especially with a Haaland type, because he most of his points come from scoring the goals.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I might just play him because I think a lot still will, and on the off chance he plays a full game and score, yeah.
Yeah. I know obviously Haaland is an incredible player, but in the last 5, he's got 1 goal, no assists. And that goal was that a penalty goal? Or it wasn't a convincing goal, I don't think. So are we just writing the name rather than writing the player, the fantasy player?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of those locked away players. It's the same with the Fernandez's and the Sakas.
Yeah, I'm not playing him this week. I'm putting it out there now. Hopefully I hold my nerve. Hopefully I get some kind of leak team tweet somewhere that kind of helps me. But I can't see him playing. I know that, he plays basically every game. He wants to play every game he can, but yeah, it just feels that he's not. We'll move on from Haaland though, because there's a lot of other players to talk about here. Doku.
Noah actually had a question in the chat about this specific game. Foden out of form. Do we fade him over Rodri or Cherki? So yeah, I think Foden could definitely be a bench candidate as well this week, because I feel like that was a sudden during the week. A little bit maybe to do with his hand and just being precautious, but also maybe because of that form. Especially when you've got someone similar to him like Cherki, and City tend to go through him now instead of Foden. So I think it's before Cherki started popping off, I think it was Foden was a bit more risky. I don't think it's that risky anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Cherki I would do over Rodri. I think Rodri's an all right GameDay Squad asset. It's just he needs like certain and specific circumstances to do well, I think.
Yeah. Like it feels like he should be like that kind of almost stat accumulator Bruno type thing, but all the things he does don't net him points, which is, frustrating for him.
Yeah.
So I'd be not going Rodri. If you're looking at fading Foden, I'd be looking another team probably, or Cherki maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Now that City forward line is stacked with, fantasy options this week. Doku back in, looks like he's starting to get back in form. The form he was in before he was out. I know you're big on him. I assume you're playing him this week.
Yeah, I'm playing him and Zemania in all three. Mm-hmm. Actually, I say all three challenges, the one where I go a bit weird, so I don't think I'm doing it in that. But so the thing is that now Pep could completely pull one on us and just not start either of them. That'd be classic Pep. But it's like you sort of think they both have to. They both didn't play midweek in Champions League. Doku was on the bench, so he wasn't injured. Semenyo we knew was ineligible.
Mm-hmm.
They've been in decent form too. The fact that City still averaged like 3 goals at home in the league, it's like you sort of have to play those two because their goal source is probably going to come from at least one of them, and you don't want to pick the wrong one.
Yeah, and this is a fixture that they need to hit this game hard as well because they're in a rut. They haven't, have they? How many points? There's like 1 point in January or something they've claimed, which is
it was even worse for last year. They only got like 2 points, didn't they? It was like a new league record low.
Yeah. Actually, I saw an interesting stat that the bottom 5 Premier League tables have scored more points in 2026 than the top 5 points have, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I think they're going to hit it hard, hopefully with the exception of Haaland. Semenyo looks good. Pick him. I think you're right. Everything you've said is correct. He seems like one of the safest options in there. Looking down back, the big signing, Gay coming to City. How do you see that in terms of a game day squad kind of?
If he was City, I'd be playing him this week, but don't play him because you won't get points if he's not in City colours and game day squad.
Yeah. Now, will he score as well for City as he did for Crystal Palace?
Better, I think.
Better.
He'll emulate Vardiol pretty well, apart from the fact Vardiol can play left back.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be their defender that'll be winning everything in the air, especially from set pieces. Like Vardiol's pretty decent on set pieces, scored a couple of times from it, so he'll just overtake that role until Vardiol's back. I feel like Diaz might leave City next season, and it'll be those two together, or they play 3 at the back with those 3, and then 2 wide players.
Yeah.
Could be the play because they've now got Semenyo and Doku to go wide. I think he'd be a really good scorer. I think it increases City's backline's scoring as well because he's just so solid back there. He'll be good in their high line as well. He's decently pacey. Means Donnarumma is even a better option as well.
Yeah. I think I agree, but I want to watch a few weeks before kind of, picking him. he wasn't as pickable as he probably would have been last season anyway this year, due to a number of reasons. But I think he's going to kind of slot in just like Semenyo did, just kind of straight into it. Wolves. Now, they're looking all right. It's weird.
So immediately the thing that's like Wolves in a given week, it's like a couple of their players still usually score well, regardless of a couple of goals here or there. But the fact City has scored 4 on them last time, they didn't concede, and on top of that, City averaged so many goals at home. It's like I don't think anyone's going to score particularly too well. Maybe like Sarr, if City have 10 shots and he saves 8 of them.
Yeah, I'm just looking back through all City's results where they've been struggling. They've basically been playing away for a long time, it looks like. So coming home, hopefully for our GameDay Squad assets, the ship will right itself and we'll start getting some points here. But yeah, I just I just really want to pick Bueno one week, because every week we talk about him and he looks like he's consistently scoring better than a lot of the big names that we wouldn't blink an eye picking. So yeah, I think he's probably going to be one where next season he'll be in a decent team and we'll just be picking him nonstop. But yeah, anyone else from this one you want to talk about, or should we jump into the next one?
I think that's it. I think we covered most of it. Sort of gave our thoughts on what the lineup might look like too. So
yeah, no, all right, we'll push on. So game 5, Bournemouth Liverpool. Now, your boys last week dropped points, didn't they? And
I think it's another draw.
Yeah, to Burnley.
Yeah, 1-1. That's right. Canate mistake.
Yeah. So coming up against Bournemouth, who lost significant players, significant strengths, and significant structure, gaining probably Salah. Do you think he'll start?
I think he might come off the bench for this one, because coming off the AFCON then straight into the Champions League, he the way Salah is and how fit he is, he definitely could. Funnily enough, I saw a stat line of Gakpo starting versus Gakpo not playing, and we've won all the games Gakpo's played in, and drawn or lost the games he's started in. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's anything to that, and if there is, and their slots taking account of it, we could see Wirtz on one side, Gakpo benched, and Salah on the other side with Ekitike through the middle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Wirtz is
sort of genuinely have to play every game now.
Yeah, he's genuinely a good GameDay Squad option. I think he's kind of moved into that. What is it, the not Bruno level, but an early Grealish kind of level. You know, when he was just consistently.
It's what we all thought he'd be at the start. So everyone wanted to get his cards straight away.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And you could have picked one up really cheap, because there was so much negative energy around him. So many people talking down, wasted transfer. Yeah, it was funny, but he's come good. So he's one I will be playing. I probably can see myself playing most weeks now.
Yeah.
Against Bournemouth, do you see them putting up any kind of fight here?
So on paper, with a heap of variables that have now come into it, we should Liverpool should win this game quite easily. So of course they've lost Semenyo. In the last 5 times we've played them, Semenyo has been the only goal scorer for them, and they've only scored the 2 goals he scored last round. Last time we played early in the season. I think it was round 1. Tavernier, their second best grader arguably, and the person who everyone thought was the head of the throne for Semenyo, is now out injured. Mm-hmm. So their attacking options dry up real quick. They've got Brooks, who's a good creator. Evan Nilsson's there. Krupi's there. But it's it feels like they'll have a lot of build-up and just not be able to put away chances. So I like a lot of the Liverpool players in this game because of it. We've kept multiple clean sheets in the past against them as well. Did it against Marseille midweek, so we were in form with defence. Like Gomez was in there instead of Canate, and we still looked solid defensively. Canate's potentially out again because of personal reasons, so we could see Gomez play with Van Dijk. Kirkes has been unbelievable recently, so he'll start. Might play the full game too. That question there. Yeah, I think he'll start, and Andy Robertson's sort of just like playing when he needs to now. It's just always, because Robertson's a good backup, it's just always like he's probably not going to play the full game. So you need him to assist or score. It's against his old team as well. I love playing plays against their old teams. Frimpong's a good option too on the other side. Less likely he gets rotated because Brandley's out for the season. Gomez is probably going to have to play centre back, either start there or maybe come on for Canate. So the only real option is Sosbolai or Jones go back there as a makeshift and then he comes out, which could happen because Salah's now back. We'll have to see how Salah reacts playing with Frimpong, because I've said the whole season, if Salah has someone who overlaps him, he cuts inside and Salah's a way better pick then. Yeah. So it's a good time to pick Salah when we know he's going to be starting.
Yeah, I think, obviously Salah not tracking back defensively at all. So if there's overlap and then like defensively pushing up the other side, come in, I think it's huge for Salah. Sosbolai, every week again we talk about, doesn't matter if he goes back scoring wise. I think it maybe actually does. I think he will still score well going back, but he's a genuine, like, very good, attacking option for us who will hopefully, get decent returns. So even though he still will probably do fine as if he does end up playing back, we're playing him for when he plays forward. So if ever we do see the fixtures and he's sitting back, I think I would be saying clear. But this one, I think it's probably still a pretty good pick.
Yeah, well, Bournemouth have a lot of stats as well. So, like, they're one of the teams you just pick players and they're going to, like, the risk goes away without a goal on assist because they tend to point stack. So, Sosbolai also on set pieces. The only thing is now with Salah back, if Salah plays and starts, he loses penalties. So, Salah retakes them. Whereas Sosbolai had a period there with Isaac out where he was the one on them. Still on free kicks. He scored a free kick midweek. I don't know if anybody saw it, but like he was just a little bit outside the box. The wall jumped and he just put it straight through under them on the ground that went in. So really well taken. So he's just a smart footballer as well. Same with Wirtz, very smart. So they're going to get points from just picking out plays with key passes that no one else will.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty comfortable playing either or both of them this week.
Yeah. And then I guess the last one is Ekitike. He great form for that period. Everyone started to consider him and bring him in, and then it dropped down a bit. He's still a genuine kind of, how do I say it? Like, how there's strikers who convert really well to like fantasy kind of scoring or game-based scoring. I feel like he's that player.
Yeah, it'd be like the Firmino type. If we had him for game-based score with Mane, they were both good and great too, because he drops in, gets the ball, distributes it, so he can do a bunch of stuff. Whereas Hallam's sort of like that. As good as he is at doing what he does, is that you need to score goals sort of forward.
Yeah.
I think like Gakpo and Wirtz and Sosbolai all better at accumulating, but Ekitike could. Very mercurial type forward who just depends on the matchup for me, because the issue leading into the season was Isaac's there, so we never know if he's going to be starting. He could rotate out left with Gakpo or Wirtz as well, but now we know he's the striker and he's going to be at striker unless he gets injured himself, because they don't want to play Gakpo there unless they have to.
Yeah. So would you consider him this week?
Yeah, I think so. I think Senesi's a hard matchup to go with. So I feel like there are better options, but you can definitely play him and he might score in this one.
Yeah. I think like the only other person I was genuinely considering this week was Alisson.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Alisson. Yeah, for sure. Because I think they'll create chances with Kruppi, Evan Nilsson and Brooks. I just think they might not score them, especially with a good keeper like Alisson. So
that's like a
good
perfect
pick
scenario. Yeah. But yeah, it's weird that we've not really talked about Alisson that much because I guess Liverpool have been a bit leaky when they, shouldn't be.
Yeah, bit of an injury as well at one point.
I was going to say, is there anyone else you want to talk about it? But I think we've literally talked about every Liverpool player there.
Yeah, well, Van Dijk, I don't think we chatted on specifically, but he'll be dominated the area against them early in the year, like had that 10 or 11 area dual win game. So potential clean sheet there too.
Yeah. And then Bournemouth probably not worth looking at in this one, I don't think.
Hard to, because like Petrovic's always a bit dicey. He's probably going to concede. Senesi's usually good value, even if he doesn't keep the clean. So Senesi's like there if you don't think Liverpool are going to score too many.
But yeah, I think they probably might. All right, game 6, pushing ahead. Brentford's and Forest. This feels like a great game for Thiago.
Yeah, I have a new rule actually, like as of a couple of weeks ago, and that's whenever Brentford play at home, pick Thiago.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that because I've had way too many weeks where I just haven't played him when it's like, oh, he's probably going to score this week. It seems pretty obvious. And I go, nah, I just won't pick him. And then he scores 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Forest have been conceding a lot of late goals. Brentford have been scoring a lot of late goals. Like, this is kind of, as long as Thiago's on the pitch at the end of the game, I can see like a brace here. So
he's on pens as well. The other thing is, like, Brentford is a really good home team. They're 4th in the league for home table. They've scored 23 goals in 11 games at home. So they average like 2 goals a game, over 2 goals a game. So if they're scoring 2 goals a game, who do you think's scoring for them? Majority of the time it's Thiago. He's got, not of those 23 goals, 9 of them are his goals.
Yeah, right. So I need to get him on my side, don't I?
Yeah, Sharde's another good one because he's the creator. Forest tend to concede stats from creators, so I'd imagine Sharde and him will link up pretty well. Sharde in midfielder in GameDay Squad as well.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Nottingham Forest, like Anderson, kind of, you can play him any week. He'll probably score the same any week he plays, no matter who he plays. So
he just have those spike weeks occasionally.
Yeah, probably like one of those, like, I think of them as like the stabilizing scores where you've got to have a couple of those in there to kind of, prop yourself up for any risks you take. So I think he's, there are other ones as well, but he's a pretty handy pick this week. Is there any, like, Sells has put on a couple of decent performances recently.
Yeah, he's back to where he was last season. He's got his confidence back. I actually forgot to put Anderson into my preview, so anybody that's watching, he should have been in the preview. Just forgot it.
Yeah. Sells this week, though, I think we've talked about Brentford being a decent chance of scoring a few, so I don't think that's a good shout.
Yeah, you have to say the heap of them. Yeah,
I don't know if there's anyone apart from Anderson I'd be looking at here.
I've had people mention the Brentford clean. They don't keep many cleans. Like, obviously, a team like Forest who sit back a little bit, maybe. The other thing with Forest is Wood's out and Jesus is under an injury cloud. He didn't play in the European fiction or didn't start. So it might mean a makeshift sort of attack and lineup, which is in the forward. So it could mean we see an unusual goal scorer for Forest, or we just don't see them. And then, like T says, Kelleher goes well, or Collins goes well. Coyote is the point stacker, so I think he's the safest you could go. And then if he gets a clean sheet, good points.
Yeah.
The thing with Kelleher as well is he has a real nous for saving penalties. Like, he's a really good penalty keeper. So if he gets one of those games again, that's where it goes ballistic and has those huge games.
Yeah. I think, again, we'll talk about it. I think it's still coming up, but there's probably better keepers, even though, like, lock of all locks is a huge call there, T. But I think
I do think there's better games for Kelleher. He's like, I've got him in my previews, a recommended player, so I think he's all right. I had him first draft that I made in my squad this week, the classic, I had him in, but I've since changed him.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it'll be fine pick, but yeah, huge call.
Yeah, there are a lot of options this week there.
Yeah. Now, Crystal Palace and Chelsea, this will be a interesting game to talk about, and then probably not pick too many players from, is the way I'm looking at this one. I don't know how you feel.
Similar, but if I was going to pick players, it'd be from Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way I'm looking at it is, it's a real, like, toxic wasteland over there at the moment. So it's like where he's been sold. Their coach Glasner came out, basically went off at the board and the whole club about doing it. Said that he's going to might not see out the season. End of the season, his contract's up and he's gone. He's not staying. Mateta now wants to leave, so he might not even play this game. Munoz might be back. He might not be back for this one. And if he is, he's going to be underdone.
I heard he's leaving as well. Wasn't he linked with Juventus, I think?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, like, he's come out before and said he wants to move to United and stuff as well, so he definitely wants to jump ship at some stage. But it's just like, imagine being a player there at the moment. Oh, cool, my manager's not sticking around. Like, why am I even bothering? Our captain just got sold. Our best player's out injured. Our other one doesn't want to play. He wants to go to another club. So I can only imagine that's going to affect them. And I would say Chelsea's a pretty bad team to come up against when that's all happening.
Yeah. Did you see that meme where, like, it was Munoz walking back into training, like Troy from Community, when he walks back in with the pizzas and everything's on fire?
The same could apply to Sarr as well, because Sarr's probably going to have to play striker this week.
Yeah, that's crazy. On to Chelsea.
Yeah.
What do you make of Palmer?
He's under a little bit of an injury cloud, but it's not that serious, the manager said. I'm inclined until I don't trust him anymore, to trust him for now. Seems like a nice enough bloke, but we'll see. So I would say Palmer, who got rested for the Champions League, is probably going to play. I think he's a pretty decent option with all that's going on for Palace. He's probably going to do something, whether it's a goal or assist, like Pedro too. The manager had a lot of praise for Pedro. It's just whether he gets rotated because they have the options there. Like the manager was saying, he loved how Pedro ran 70 metres back to just defend, like get behind the line and defend. I assume that's going to keep him in good stead and maybe lock down that striker position, especially with the goal I think he scored last round. Neto, another good option. So I think all three of those you could pick one or two from, with how bad Palace situation looks at the moment. I'm more keen on the defenders because without Mateta, I think the attack's just going to be very hard to find a goal. Sarr's back, maybe to start, but yeah, pace is only going to get you so much.
Yeah. So what about Sanchez then? Is there enough of a threat there to make it worthwhile, but not enough to,
Because I think they will concede shots, and Sanchez is a half-decent shot stopper. That's never been the issue with him, so I think he's a good call. I think Chalobah's a good call. Cucurella and James are predicted to start. I'm more on Cucurella because he was out injured for a little bit, probably back and probably just going to play through now for a long run. So I'd probably go maybe two at most for the defenders. So probably like a Sanchez and a Chalobah is who I'd lean towards.
Yeah, I think Sanchez is currently in my side. Cucurella or Chalobah, probably Chalobah, look decent options to come in. I'm just playing around with that last couple of spots. Palmer, I don't rate this week. He looks like he's playing hurt. I read somewhere that he needs surgery, but he won't get surgery because of the World Cup. So that's
we'll see if he even makes the World Cup squad now.
Yeah, exactly. So it just feels like he's hobbling to the end of the season. And just, we scored that penalty last week, I think it was, wasn't it? And then just laid down.
Yeah, they're relying on, like, the Maresca before he got sacked even said along the lines of, like, he was very hush-hush on Cole Palmer's injury situation. And he's like, he's just got constant pain. So it's better some days. It's not great some other days. So I assumed it was something like that.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I think the fixture feels really good for him, but I don't think I'll be looking there. Yeah, I think that's everyone. You've got your legend side, don't you, which you could potentially be playing.
Yeah, it'd be great if it wasn't in this. I think so. I don't want to get sucked into the hole with the Reds to play it. Still got Gomez as well this week. Gomez could start because of the Bernardo personal reasons and situation. So I'm more tempted to play Gomez than I am Sarr.
Yeah, no, fair. All right, so we've got 3 more games to talk about. Newcastle, Aston Villa. I had a quick look at your preview this week and didn't really seem a fan of this one.
It was a struggle. Like, I had 2 people in there. That was Watkins and Pope, and even just Pope doesn't make it makes a little bit of sense because he's probably going to get shots to stop. So,
yeah, why do you hate this game so much?
Well, it's just like it was probably going to be 50-50 anyway, and then Bruno Guimaraes is a maybe because he had an ankle problem midweek. Kamara is suspected to be out longer term, so that's both of their like centre mid best players this season out or potentially out. Shah, Livramento, McGinn, and Martinez are all pretty much out of this game, or the predictor has them as listed as out. So it like becomes even more 50-50 and like up in the air who's going to win. And so there's probably going to be goals either way. So that narrows down the defenders. Maybe the goalkeepers as not being good options. It was 0-0 early in the season when they played. So potentially could get that again. But I just feel with all the injuries, it's going to open things up. They're going to concede goals, which puts you towards the attackers. The only real player like Voltmade and Visa, or Voltmade, we don't really have info on because he's only first year in the league. Gordon hasn't done very well against Villa in the past. Visa hasn't done very well against them. Watkins is the only attacker that has a really good like history of goal scoring against Newcastle.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't know the depth, but everything you've just said has just talked me out of this game. I have Pope currently because I was kind of thinking that, Villa are decent attacking side, so they will have shots. And even if they concede, Pope has still been scoring pretty decently when they concede. So I think that was my thinking.
He's a decent option because Newcastle are significantly better at home as well. Villa are significantly better at home than they are away. So that makes sense. It could just be a goal they concede. They could get a clean. It could be a Millwall again. So he's not the worst option. I've had him in my thoughts too. Like he's in those top couple of keepers.
Yeah. But should we just move on then if you stop looking at these names? Make you sick. All right. Second last game. Probably, the biggest game of the round from a, watching genuine EPL side of things. Arsenal United. How United are looking a lot better now under, beat United. Beat City. They surprised everyone really, didn't they?
Because Kuna not starting that game was the biggest surprise as well. They went Dorgu instead, which made things interesting. Well, obviously, we got the lineup for that, so we knew that going to lockout anyway. They did look at. That's what I've said in my preview too. That Carrick's got them looking really good, and it'd be interesting to see if he can do the double and beat Arsenal too. It was a really close game in round 1 when they played. There was I think it was a Gabriel or it was a Calafiori set piece goal. It was real late too in the game, I'm pretty sure. So like it had the looks of a 0-0, but United got an absolute ton of shots on goal as well. I think David Raya had a big game. I think he could go the same way this time because Arsenal completely different to City in their way they play. They play way more defensively. They're going to do it against United, so it's probably going to be a lot of chances, I reckon. But Arsenal probably going to keep it to like a 1-0, 0-0, 1-1 type of game. So I think there's a decent amount of options you could choose from. I like the defenders for Arsenal. as we do most week, rather than much else. Apart from Bruno, like Bruno's the obvious selection again.
Mm-hmm. And then what about Dorgu again? He's looking too good to drop, isn't he?
He is, and it's hard because, like, obviously, clean sheets are relevant with his type of scoring. So, like, I've got like a rule in the back of my head. Sort of like if I know Dorgu's starting picking, obviously I didn't get City last week because it's City, but you can still turns out you can still do that without knowing the lineup for this one. It's a bit hard because if Carrick swaps it up and Cunha plays, I don't think he could drop Dorgu because he scored last week, didn't he, or assisted?
Mm-hmm. Oh, he scored, yeah.
So it's very hard to drop someone after that.
And it feels like the way that Arsenal defend as well, there's probably a decent chance he'll kind of stack up the crosses and those kind of
stack up a lot of everything. Yeah. And they shouldn't concede too much because Arsenal, even against like Wolves and stuff like that, were sitting back.
Yeah. So I'm tempted to take a punt on him, knowing that, we have the emergency if it doesn't work out. The problem is, will he get subbed on?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So, like, I don't mind the subbing off too much with them because usually the clean sheet's gone by then. If anything, it saves them from getting more minus points for goals conceded. So it's not too bad for him. But like you say, will he like get a rotation and be subbed on and then it ruins it? Yeah, he's not on my list actually. Looking back over the preview, I should have probably put him on there. I didn't think about it a whole heap.
That's right. It's a living document. We can change it.
But yeah, like you get Dorgu, Bruno from United. I think they're both good picks. And Blamo's like a different. I don't think he'll stack up enough or like score or assist in this one. So I'd leave him. I'd just be looking towards Bruno and Dorgu.
Yeah.
And then on Arsenal side, you get a heap of options you could go for.
Yeah. So we'll talk about probably the most frustrating player to start with, Saka. It's like he hasn't been that bad. It's just he hasn't really had any big weeks. Last week he was a top scorer, even though he sat on the bench. Yeah. But still, what was it? Maybe the week before, whenever it was. But he just feels like he's not the player he was sold to us as at the start of the season.
Yeah, and I think it's got to do with how they're playing. Like, they're obviously playing super defensively because the whole defense wins the league, not the game. So I think that does affect him a bit, and it means he gets isolated a fair bit. Funnily enough, I'm not going to pick him this week. I don't think, at least in Classic. I think it'd be one of him or Haaland, not both. But I like him more now that United are playing a back four under Carrick. At least I think they are, than I did when they were playing a back five. Because what United were doing was they were stopping wingers from generating a lot of their points because they were cramping the space and pushing them out wide, so they couldn't do anything. With the back four, it always opens it up for Saka to run directly at whoever he's up against. Luke Shaw probably, which isn't too bad a matchup for him. It's just Dorgu's probably going to be on that side as cover, so it might turn into a bit of that situation where he gets cramped.
Yeah. Declan Rice is probably the safe option though here, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he started the Champions League midweek either. I don't think him or Odegaard did. Raya is probably my number one option in this game because I feel like he'll concede shots and I think they can keep the clean. So it might be a similar performance to the start of the season, maybe less shots or saves he gets. And then Gabriel, everyone's going to go for. I'm on the same boat because I think he'll assumably play the whole game and chance of scoring because United aren't that great from set pieces.
Yeah. I think that's probably the main ones. Oh, actually, sorry, one person I was thinking about who could be a huge smoky, Gabriel Jesus. He scored a brace in the Champions League midweek. Looked really good too doing it. At some point, he's probably going to have to come into Arteta's consideration for starting. It feels like he's been pretty hard done by. I don't know.
I agree. Yorkies hasn't lived up to the standard. I'm pretty sure Arteta likes Gabriel Jesus as well. I feel like the reason he's not playing more often is because he's come back from such a major injury. And what we might see happen is they'll wait for the next time they don't play Champions League or a midweek game, and they'll play him in both 2 games back to back then with the week's break. So then he'll start the league games, and then it'll go to Gyökeres playing in the Champions League rather than the opposite. So they just need that break to be able to swap it around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe not then.
It's hard because we sort of need the lineups for that sort of thing. Because you presume just off the face of it, it's going to be, because he played midweek especially, it's going to be Trossard, it's going to be Gyökeres, and it's going to be Saka out the other side. But who knows, because Arteta's the biggest pain in the... he was at it again midweek as well. He said Mosquera's out for another couple of weeks, and then Mosquera played the Champions League game.
Yeah. Was he...
So annoying.
What's he gaining from it?
Just trying to play mind games. He said it before as well. He loves playing mind games with the opposition managers and stuff, and the fans.
Yeah.
He's the only one that does it this bad too. Hal's a bit annoying, but nowhere near as much as him.
Yeah. No. Is there anyone else here? I
think we covered most of it. Arsenal, you've got a lot to choose from if you want to go down that route.
Yeah, Timber could be. Yeah.
Timber's good as well. I was thinking double Arsenal at one stage, but I'm more leaning towards Raya and Gabriel now. But their defence is apparently still short-staffed because of all the injuries. Mosquera's back obviously now, so that could change a few things around. I think Ben White didn't start the Champions League game, so there's potential that Timber could be benched for him, but Timber could always play left back because Nkapé's still not back, I don't think. And so Calafiore isn't either.
Yeah. And Ben White's listed as a predicted starter here. So, I don't know. I think Gabriel, maybe Timber, Salah's not scoring enough compared to the others to consider. Rice, that's probably where I'm looking. Yeah. All right. Well, last game, then we'll crack open some packs because we've been going a bit longer. Everton Leeds.
Yeah, I actually really like this game.
Yeah. Does that mean you'll be getting up to watch it then?
Not watching the game. I've actually said it's a very intriguing game for all the wrong reasons. Jax wasn't very happy when I was chatting to him about this either. Because it's so pretty much all of Everton's attackers are Jack Grealish is apparently, this hasn't been confirmed yet, but apparently has a long-term injury and is out for the season. Dewsbury Hall is only just returned to light training, so I doubt he starts. Ndai has come back from winning AFCON. Not sure if he'll start or whether they'll give him a bit of a break because he's won the thing and he probably celebrated pretty hard with his teammates, I'd imagine. And to couple the Dewsbury Hall just returning, Moyes has got a hard on for Armstrong at the moment, which Armstrong's a perfectly good young player. They brought him back off a loan to play straight up, so pretty decent. But it just means Armstrong's pretty set to still remain there and they're going to rush Dewsbury Hall back. Means their attack and threat goes right down. Ndai brings it back up a little bit, but otherwise goes right down against a team that likes to sit back and sort of defend. So I would say Leeds defenders are all options. It's good you get Anthony there because Anthony plays this.
Mike's cutting out a bit there.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, it's just a bit robotic. So
because my earphones just died, unfortunately. Probably just didn't think over for me. Is that better?
I can't. That's right. maybe we can. I'll talk and you do thumbs up, thumbs down, to see if I'm talking smack or not. But yeah, covered Everton. Like, and Dyer, I have him in my side because I think he's like, Everton are almost at the point where they can't give him a rest because he's going to have to come into a side where, Grealish, I think it was a stress fracture in his foot, which potentially could be a while. It's saying about a month, but I think it's one of those ones where it's about a month and then he's back in and then it's the end of the season. So may as well just call it a season injury. So I think with Leeds sitting back, he'll get the opportunity to kind of do a bit more on the ball and kind of accumulate those, attacking stats, the take-ons, the crosses. But yeah, I don't know, with Leeds, they're always so hard to predict. I think I have Stack in my side as well, just because I think that's a decent matchup with that Everton midfield who's a bit kind of all over the place. But he's, again, probably not cemented in my side just because there's a bit of an injury cloud around him. Calvert-Lewin's been pretty decent form. Dropped off a bit the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Have I been talking smack?
Have to mute and I think you're gonna the same sort
when you
of
hear this back, you're gonna find it hilarious.
Is because he's a defender, plus he gets to do what midfielders do, which could be so I think defenders from both sides, the keeper situation at Darlow, or it could be some more likely towards Pickford, because they're probably still they do. Just defenders from both teams. Ampadu currently under an injury cloud, so not him. Maybe Jan Tarkovsky, who can score well.
You're gonna love this when you watch it back, Zonald. Everything you said then was basically in slow motion. I felt like you were dumbing it down for us, which is probably what you should be doing every episode. But it was, it came across still. It was good, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, I think Tarkowski is probably the other one. You didn't just talk about him, did you? But
my AirPods back as well, seeing a fixture.
All right, let's just we'll move on. We'll open some packs and we'll go through our teams. So to start off with, we have Zonald's team. Let's see if you can talk us through it. Have a crack.
Yeah, I fixed it. Am I talking now?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. All right, we can't hear him again, so I'll talk you through it because he's explained a lot of it to me already, and he's basically talked through it with us all. Haaland backing in, all-star cards, you kind of have to, although I'm not, which is it's probably going to change, let's face it, before lockout. Semenyo, Doku, 3 City forwards, and Cherky in the middle. You're stacking this game hard, which I don't mind, but it could easily kind of, knowing City, knowing the run, I can see this being like a real depressing one for you, especially it's one of the first games. Bruno safe, Wilson we talked about being a decent attacking option here. And then Verts as well, another one through the midfield. And then Thiago, you finally picked him as a potential goal scoring option here. A backline there, Tarkowski, didn't talk about him at the end, but you've got him there. So I'm assuming that means that you are keen on him. Double Sunderland defence and keeper Ampadu. I don't know if we talked about him earlier, but it's a decent shout there, and Pickford as well. So
I can talk.
You're still doing the slow thing.
It's
hilarious. I'm going to clip this and just post it everywhere. It's great. Right. That's Zonald's team. We'll get him in the Discord later to chat about and explain any decisions if anything, like I said, was wrong. For me, I've gone real risky this week, and I don't know why. I've gone Mamouche over Haaland because I'm convinced that that's who's going to be starting forward for City. I don't recommend that you follow me because it is a pretty, a lot rides on that decision, and it could easily be like a 30-point swing in my team if I get it wrong. I'm banking on some, hopefully, news on Twitter or something that kind of hints at who might be starting for City. Semenyo, decent, easy pick there. That's pretty safe. Dyer, also a risky one. We just talked about him then. You there, Zonald?
Yeah, I fixed it, I think.
Oh, yeah, we have now. You're back. Do you want to go back to your side? Or?
No, you covered it pretty well.
Sorry. The thing with this is we talk about the teams all through the thing that when we get to this, we're like, oh, yeah, I already explained why I did that.
Except Ampadu and Tarkovsky because I was drunk, apparently. No, I literally just had to refresh the stream because for some reason it had me set to my Mac and didn't allow my mic to actually connect to it.
Oh, cool.
But the reason I want to pick Ampadu is because I think both defenses are really good with the lack of attackers for Everton. And Everton at home, both can be playing pretty defensively. Ampadu's a midfielder in game, but in GameDay Squad, he is a defender. So he gets all the clean sheet benefits, but he gets to do all the midfielder things. So very favourable in a game where it's going to be very hostile and like defensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I rate that. With my side, I think we've kind of talked about it. Oh, Gakpo was the other, maybe not so much controversial, but maybe not a first line pick for most people. I've gone stacked in the middle there. Not sure I'll keep him just because of the injury cloud. Foden I've got in there as well, who I don't know. I don't tend to play Foden that much, which has cost me a lot, but it's kind of come in clutch lately. And then, Sanchez and Pope are probably the two other ones that would be interesting to people. But that's it for our teams. So we are going to rip open some packs because we've been at a pretty weird time compared to normal. Not too much happening in the chat, which is what we're expecting. So I think there's 3 people who are active. We've got Bella, TC, and Mel herself. So I'm just going to rip open 3 packs and just everyone's a winner this week rather than doing up the wheel because I can't be bothered. So yeah. Let's get... I did preload the packs in here. Cannot wait to clip that for you, Zonald, to show you what you sounded like.
Oh, sorry, I probably sounded like that last Saturday as well.
Cruel. Yeah.
Can you see? I can just see a blank blue screen in front of me.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, that's because I stuffed up the slides. That's my bad.
Easy.
Yep. All right. So I've got a few starter packs there, which I'm not going to bore you with, but I've got 3 common packs. I think the All-Star packs codes are starting to dry up, possibly. I don't know. I've got these ones. Who cares? We'll open them. I'm not packing All-Stars lately anyway, so it won't make a difference. So, as always, I'll keep a row, you keep a row. The chat person keeps a row. We'll start off with, let's start with Bella, because I think that was the first, apart from Mel's, who's always in there first. But so which row do you want?
I'll go middle again.
Middle, I'll go bottom. And then so top row is going to Bella. I think it's doing that thing where I need to refresh it. So my game day squad's drunk as well.
Followed my advice.
Yeah. All right. Give us something. Oh, here we go. So I got a platinum out of this one. I assume by now most people know how to read the animations, but with packs, if it pulses like that and then spins, that means it's a platinum. If it pulses and explodes, you get a diamond or a legend, potentially. So we'll start with your row. So you've got Silver Akadare, Silver Melon to go along with your red melon that you have, I know. Or
yeah, no longer have. Yeah.
And
Pickford,
Pickford. Yeah, someone you're big on this week. For me, we have a Ballard. Decent little pack here for this round. Got a Dark, maybe not. And you've got a King. So that means that the platinum is going out to Bella. Hopefully it's a decent one. Starting off with a Danzo. Foden. And an Isaac.
Be good next season.
That's a pretty handy pack, to be honest. There's a lot of decent names there who are...
Danzo potentially a starter if Van de Ven does leave.
Yeah, don't mind that at all. All right, so Bella, you've got the top row there. Decent cards. You can also have the Ballard there if you want it.
Same with Pickford.
Sweet. All right, next up we will go TC. Same row?
Yeah.
Beautiful. So yeah, that's a platinum one where it pulses and spins. So you've packed a gold for Skelly, a silver Foden, and a silver Jones.
That can go on the bin. The Jones specifically.
Yeah. Chalaba. These are some decent, squad packs here. Yeah, these are the cards that you want for your champion, your classic side, really. It's got the Platinum Ballard. Jeez, love so many competitive players. This cow just dropped the player pool down to 9 different players. And then finally we've got a Mecha. All right, and for TC we got Noto, Gertruda, and Kadioglu. So again, if you want that Chalabar and Ballard, all yours. TC. Not Lewis Skelly, you can Jones, you're keeping them.
Oh yeah, you can have either. If you get Jones though, you just got to promise to figure out how to burn it.
All right, and the last one we got is for Mel, and then we will call it a night, and I will get back to the cricket. You might have noticed that I've been looking up a little bit at the cricket scores. We're both Tasmanians, and
my boy Riley Meredith.
Yeah. It's been probably a good night for us to be not watching the cricket. So same rows again, I assume?
Yeah.
All right, so Noto again.
Noto.
Salah.
Not bad. I actually don't have a gold Salah, but Mills can have it.
And then a Hull. For me, I have a Scott, Calvert-Lewin, and a Sade. Again, these are from these 3 packs, I reckon we could build a decent side.
Yeah, especially this week. A lot of them have have good fixtures. Yeah. Chowdhury's out.
Oh. And if you are watching along, I don't think anyone watching this stream at the moment is new to GameDay Squad, but if you do use the code, you do get yourself 3 common packs, and you could have this many players. So you would be set. Sorry, my dog's just keen for me to finish this up. So, Mel, if you want any of those bottom players, maybe not the seller, but
same with mine. No, you go for it, Mills.
Beautiful.
You go for it.
But we'll leave it there for tonight. Ooh, before my dog gets too angry, and I'll just let him out. All right, crisis is resolved. Any final advice going into the round? First game is Saturday night at a reasonably okay time to watch.
Don't trust Arteta. I asked Cal if he could put managers into the game specifically so I could figure out how to get them all and then burn them all.
Just trade them all in. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No, I think for me it is don't follow my lead, but Haaland, I'm calling it. He's not playing. You can be a sheep, play him, but I think I'm probably going to end up chickening out and playing Haaland, but I think there's a decent chance he's not playing. So we'll leave it there. We'll let everyone get back to the cricket. And thanks for watching at this unusual time. Next week, I reckon hopefully we'll be back at our normal time and we'll try and keep it, but we'll see how we go. And best of luck to everyone.